Well, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are out there in the world. It's time for another edition of the SoundTraxx Soundbites podcast. This is our train talk from milepost 141. Now, for frequent viewers, you may notice that the seat next to me is empty. Tom's actually out on vacation this week, and he had to take some time to go run down and see the Cubbies in Arizona in spring training. At the time of this recording, so I know he had a great time and he's getting a bunch of projects done so we can populate our table in front of us the next time he comes in. So he's really excited, looking forward to that. And kind of along those lines, I didn't bring any projects just simply because I wanted to wait to when Tom's back so that we can show off some projects together, talk about it. As you probably would have guessed, it may be another Missouri Pacific locomotive that I finished up, but we'll see what happens next week or next time we post these videos. So. With that, it's been pretty good. I've got a lot of stuff to talk about. This week, of course, with Tom being gone, I've been handling all of the support calls and emails, and we'll talk about that after we bring in our special guests. So kind of what I've learned over the last week and kind of some things we can give you guys some advice on to try to help you enjoy your hobby. And I know it kind of leads in a little bit what we've talked about the last time, so stay tuned. But first, I want to bring in our special guests here, and I've got some friends of ours from Spring Creek ModelTrains out there in that wonderful little store in Deschler, Nebraska. I've got Mike and Jeff Zucker here from Spring Creek ModelTrains, and I've got you guys here on there, so come on in and say hi.
Hey, everybody.
Hey, everybody.
Thanks for having us, George, and I always love having you out here in the little town and little store here in Deschler, so that's awesome. So.
It's one of those stores that's always difficult on my wallet because every time I come out there, I tend to leave money behind, and it's hard to walk out of there. If I bring a budget, it's gone. It's gone. I just don't even bother.
We had somebody else in here this week. Yeah, was driving, through the area and stopped in, and he was saying the same thing. He said, I got to get everything on my list, right? I got a budget, so let's see what's on the list, see what you guys got. We did pretty good on that, but then he started walking around, so it was pretty fun. So
yeah,
I'm always impressed because when you walk through the store, the shelves aren't just full; they're too deep. You've got stuff stacked in front of stuff because there's so much stuff there, and then you guys travel around. And do various shows around the country as well, which, what do you have, 2 or 3 teams that travel out and back and forth? Tell me a little bit about how you guys manage all that.
it's really one main team. That's Dave and Deb.
Okay.
They'll try to do primarily most of the traveling for shows. Mike and I will go out as a second group if it happens to be just shows lined up on the same weekend in our travel circle, I guess. So, in fact, that's where Dave and Deb are off to right now. They're on their way to Sioux Falls, South Dakota. So,
oh wow!
Show there, and certain times a year, like Jeff was saying, we're doubled up quite a bit. So we'll carry a second trailer load of stuff. So, and what you see in our trailers at train shows is a whole separate inventory than what you see at our store or on our website. And we do that just from a management standpoint, right? It'd be tough for us to take an order on the web, right? And if that thing's out at the train show, how do you know it's still available that fast, right? So
sure,
we avoid that by managing those inventories differently, separately, I should say. So
yeah,
it's pretty crazy when you start thinking about that we can be in 3 different places or 2 different places plus the store being open,
right?
Managing all that inventory.
So it sounds like if somebody missed a pre-order, they need to call you because you guys have 3 inventories full of stuff for pre-orders.
Just did that today. A gentleman called looking for an older Atlas locomotive, not super old, but several months. And, we got one inventory of one of our trailers getting processed back into the store. So went out to the garage, started digging through it and found it, right? So,
oh, wow.
Which was pretty fun. So
that's awesome.
Okay. That's weird.
It don't happen very often.
It don't happen very often.
We do.
There are some things out there that just they never make it to the trailer or the web. They're just that kind of product. I guess Rapido's transverse coil cars are a good example of that. We didn't. I think they went to one show and that was it, and they were sold out that fast.
Oh wow! Yeah, because I was just seeing some stuff about those being received at some of the stores this week. So
the reefers. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, I thought it's too new for me, but I saw something about the Greenbrier coil cars. I think it was.
Yeah, everybody's still talking about them and looking for them, but this is the Greenbrier reefer, the cryo-trans version.
Okay.
It just came out here in last week and a half, and it's kind of been the same thing, but we had enough stock there to keep rolling. So
those have made it out on our website, and we've been having fun with those. Just it's a fun car to see, right?
Right.
So
new to the real railroads, relatively new to the real railroads, and new to the models for
right.
So it's fun having that.
Yeah, because I don't think I've ever seen the cars yet myself, quite frankly.
They're sharp.
Yeah,
they're super sharp. So Rapido did another bang up job on them. So
nice.
One of the other things we make sure to do when we are traveling with shows is that we do have a good selection of decoders of all the major brands, and of course SoundTraxx is one of those. So we have Lunami all the way through the mobile.
Nice.
Out there with us as much as possible, right? It can get picked through because the trailer doesn't always make it home every weekend or
right.
week. You get resupplied, but we definitely make sure to try to have everything in there.
We try to be parts and pieces, have those around. I mean, as Jeff mentioned, we just can't carry it all. So.
Sure, but you like
to wired products, right? Yeah,
keep alive. It's like a mobile hobby shop.
We try. Yeah, that's what we try for, right? But you got to balance that with the workload, right?
Sure.
Of it all. So
absolutely,
those are the things that we keep working on.
But when it comes to the shows, especially since they can see you at the shows, it's a good thing that you carry not just great inventory on the models and the locomotives and all that themselves, but also decoders, accessories. I think I've bought some Woodland Scenics lighting kits and stuff. They're lamps or whatever. At times I've bought miscellaneous stuff, because the hard part about when I travel, I'm usually flying back and forth, right? And so what I have to have fits in my suitcase or my backpack, or it don't go home. So I have to be a little more selective, a little bit like that on the road. But I have bought. There was,
I'll throw this idea, George. We have a lot of customers that are in the same boat that you have, and I'm sure several that are listening are probably in that boat. But
sure,
we've had customers, buy it from us at the show, ask us to take it home, right, and then ship it to them.
Okay.
So we've done all that kind of stuff. We deliver stuff to shows.
Gotcha.
So
yeah, I've done that with you too.
Yeah. And we've done it too. Just Jeff and I were doing it at the last show we were at, where we sold what we had at the show, but we knew we had more at the store, and so we took payment from it there at the show and shipped it that Monday when we got home.
So that's awesome.
Got it to our customers soon.
So we know that you guys are very well stocked on everything. You're the go-to place at the store, at the shows. A lot of times, if you're looking for it, go to the Spring Creek ModelTrains booth at their show, and chances are you'll find it. But tell the viewers, tell everybody, the listeners, about the store itself. You guys are 25 years old now. How did it start, and what kind of got you guys into it? And I know you're second generation.
Yep.
Well, I guess we've been into model trains since we were little. Mike and I, even Dad, started when he was young, running down to watch the Rock Island when it came into town, which was not, Deschler's at the end of a branch line, so it was nothing special there. But those roots were pretty deep, and as Mike and I got out of the house and started our own families, Dad kind of always had a desire to start a model train hobby store. I think it was more based around going to train shows. So that's what they did. Dad would work, Monday through Thursday doing his construction business, and then get home late Thursday night, and next morning off on the road to their show that they were going to. obviously a lot smaller back then, but then it grew from there. We got into the store about 10 years ago, 12 years ago.
2010.
2010.
So,
yeah.
Oh, wow.
So 15 years ago.
Yeah.
And they kind of ballooned from there. We never expected to have a full-on store of this size. So we always call it's a shoppable warehouse. So we're more of a train show e-commerce business, but we love to have people come in and shop our shoppable warehouse, so that you can just come in and get them off the shelf. We have products or software that helps keep if something sells internally, it comes off the web, right? So that the online doesn't get shorted or a missed sale. That does happen, but so that's kind of how we grew from there. And just I came home. Joe's going to be 10, so 9 years ago, to help with the e-commerce side, and Mike came a couple years after me to really kind of help us with the business side of things and figure out a direction to take this and where to push and what buttons to push. I mean, the world has extremely changed since COVID happened, as far as sales, right? And the importance of being able to be found on the internet. It's not so much just throw up a website and you get what you get. Now, the importance of the search engines finding you is huge.
Yep.
So we work hard at that part. That's something we're learning more and more about, and we're working hard at. But yeah, that's our growth area, is growing the web base, obviously growing the store too. So there's more and more people finding us. So we were fortunate to be featured on one of the local news stations here in the state of Nebraska about family businesses and stuff. So
that's awesome.
That has been pretty cool. It's hard to believe, us being in the model train business and us being modelers forever. People in an hour or two didn't know about us, but that's true, right? And it's just so we know we got more work ahead of us to do those kind of things and to keep growing and and providing that service of a hobby store. Jeff mentioned, we're a shoppable warehouse, but that doesn't mean we're not here to answer questions. Right? We're not here to. It's an organized store that's very shoppable. It allows us to pick product easy, right, and to get it back to shipping. That service. Jeff and I both have done decoder installs with both. Jeff's probably done a little more repairs than what I ever have done. I've done some. We're teaming up with a gentleman that's helping us do a lot of install work, a lot of repair work. So that's been kind of fun, building that expertise where we can help customers. Like I was on the phone this week talking to a gentleman about N-scale tsunamis, right? Giving him what I know about it and what I've done, right? And giving him some thoughts and tips on what to expect, what to do, right? Different things. So I think that's kind of fun. I know you've done a lot of decoder installs. You just did some on Wathers with tsunami products, right? That we were just doing that came through here. Those Rio Grande GPs.
Rio Grande.
Okay.
So that's been fun. And, Jeff and I can't do all that kind of stuff. That's why we team with some others to help us.
Okay.
Because we got to focus on our primary stuff. I mean, I like to do it because I want to learn, but I'm slow. So sometimes you just have to farm it out. And the partnership has been great. It's not a.
Well, that's the thing that we can do with you, George, is that you make it so easy to where, I know I've shot off emails at weird times of like, hey, I'm dealing with this, right? And you get back to me. That's all I can ever ask, right? And you give me an answer of things I should be thinking about or trying or doing or how to help the customer. So, and that's all we can ever ask. And I think that's all the customers really wanting from the industry, that we're willing to talk. And
yeah, absolutely. I think it's critical because, especially with our product, because it is a technical type product. And so being able to have the customer come to you with the questions, that way you get to keep the customer there, answer the questions quickly for them, and get them fixed up so that way they walk out of your store happy and maybe the wallet's a little lighter.
Right.
Well, yeah. Right. I mean, that's the end game. That's the way the world works, right? I mean, Jeff and I
Yeah.
are paying for our families through this business, so
Yeah.
we got to try to move the product, right?
Sure.
I mean, I've been the one, we start talking, electronics or even locomotives sometimes, and I'll talk a guy out of something. Just depending on where he's trying to head with his layout, right? Is like,
Yep.
well, have you thought of these things, right? And maybe that's a less of a sale for us, but the end goal is that he's going to be happy when he gets home, and hopefully remembers us and comes back. So,
Yeah, and along those lines, I've had in an HO scale, there's been a lot of guys who come with, well, I come with this thing, whatever it is, an old blue box we'll just pick on, and it's like, well, I want to, put DCC and sound and all that. And I say, well, we can do that. I got all the parts. I can, get you there, but do you really want to?
Right.
Is this custom painted? Well, no, it's just right. I'm like, do you really want to? Because by the time you're all said and done, you almost have a brand new locomotive.
Yeah.
Right.
And you don't, right? You have the electronic part, but you don't have because they didn't have the lights, so there's it's not just a decoder
taking it.
Yeah.
Yep.
Because they're always like, well, yeah, I want to do all this. I'm like, man, I'll willingly do it, but think about this part and come back to me. Usually they come back and say, well, I appreciate you. I've got to think on that a little more. And sometimes they come back and we do it, and sometimes they're just like, I appreciate you saying that. And it's not that
we're trying to short a sale or anything.
Yeah,
it's more like just trying to help the guy out on what they're trying to get to.
Oh, absolutely.
How much work some of the locomotives can be.
Yep.
The motors are better. The lights are all better. It's like, it's already in there. Your time is money too. Because hobby time is so precious. That's the thing I want to tell guys is like, you don't have infinite hours to dedicate to it. You only have, maybe a couple hours a week. And it's like, do you want to spend it on the workbench?
Right.
Great. Well, here you go. But if you're more, I just want to make this thing run at the club. Well, okay, let's find you something that runs at the club instead of upgrading something you pulled out of the old attic box, so to speak.
Right. Now I know a lot of people can find you guys at the shows, but the store is it's not really near a major town. I mean, you're an hour and change away from Lincoln, Nebraska.
That's right.
But the great thing about it is you guys do a lot of events at your, in your town in Deschler there. Things like I just saw an ad for a Fremo meet coming up here in April, and then you had your open house last year that I was at, and have done those a few years in a row now, and other events. Can you talk to a little bit about that? So it gives people an excuse to come out and shop the warehouse.
Yeah. So as Jeff said, we always enjoy having people here. That's one of the fun things about the hobby, right? Is talking to people. So hosting these events is one way for us to be able to interact with everybody. So we definitely like the Fremo setup. We got a big building just south side of town, our Thayer County Event Center, Activity Center. So we rent that out. We'll host a Fremo layout. This April is the N Scale Fremo setup. They were at our big show last summer, and they're coming back and setting up this summer or this spring. They got folks from all over the country coming.
Oh wow!
They're actually going to fill that big room. I just saw the latest map. It's pretty impressive layout.
Wow, with N Scale, that's going to be
it's going to be pretty cool. Jeff's just been working and help coordinating so Spring Creek will be hosting an HO scale Fremo event in September.
That's correct.
Okay.
So that is coming up. So that there'll be a call for layouts going out or modules. Sorry, it'll be going out for that. That we're renting the entire building. They made a custom. The HO scale guys here in the state of Nebraska made a custom module, right, to go through our doorway there between two rooms at the event center to kind of help out, walkability.
Okay.
Well, that's pretty awesome. We host those as free to anybody that wants to attend. So that is really just come check out the layout, have a good time, right? Mingle with others, in the hobby.
Right.
Then we do our big show every other year. We call it our big show. It's where we, get you right to come out, George, and along with some other manufacturers that are here hanging out. Everybody can get a chance to talk to customers.
Some niche manufacturers, smaller,
manufacturers,
you know,
Yep.
those that do little tiny detail stuff, right, to add to your layout or your models. Those
Yep.
kind of guys.
So we bring module layouts from really all over the country on that too. We try to travel in different ones. Then we're trying to do other littler events, I'll call them, right? We'll have a customer appreciation weekend coming up in May.
Okay.
We got Tesla Express that we do in December timeframe.
Okay.
Kind of coincide a date there with craft fair that goes on here in town. So
That's
try to give opportunity. You know, the husband can come down, shop trains, the wife can go check out the craft show, right?
Right.
Or vice versa, depending on.
Vice versa. That's true too.
Yeah.
Yes, you're right. So one can go one way, one can go the other. So
Yep.
so that's always fun. So we try to do more and more of that kind of stuff, and you know,
That's awesome. And it gives people a good excuse to come out there too, because it's not like you're accidentally going to find yourself 5 minutes away.
No.
I
You'll find yourself going by, right? And there's several highways that
Mhm.
you know, going from Kansas City to Denver, right? You
Yep.
can get past their store, Kansas City up through Wyoming or whatever, right?
Yeah.
There's different ways. And a lot of guys, we host the, you know, over the road truck drivers will stop by. So there's a couple streets just south of us that it's easy to park a truck on, and you walk a city block. I mean, it's not even really a city block.
No.
Yeah. Not a traditional
city block anyway to get up to our store. So it's fun. I enjoy that part. We see people from all over the world.
Yeah.
I like to say this. Well, it was really 2025, but we hosted like 4 or 5 different groups from Australia. So
yeah,
it's pretty fun to see. So
that's awesome.
Very true.
So with all this stuff and all the travel and everything, do you guys actually have time for your own layouts and your own stuff?
We do.
Okay.
This guy does. I'm helping him.
He does too. He's got other priorities at the moment. But
sure.
So I got myself into Fremo several years ago.
Okay.
So I've been doing that, but here in the last year, not even that long, maybe 6 months.
Yeah.
I have started a home layout that's going to be proto freelance on a Montana rail link.
Okay.
So
you're in scale, if I remember correctly, right?
I'm still HO scale.
You're HO. Okay. You're the N scaler. Okay. You're the small-minded one.
Oh,
come on. I had to throw it out there.
I like it. Jeez. So I've had a lot of good input from Mike as using his career in track design. So he catted it out for me along with some friends, gave ideas, which has been really helpful to make it kind of start coming to fruition. It's not very far, mainly because our timing doesn't always work out because but we're getting there. We got the lower deck kind of framed in for the staging.
Yeah. Okay.
I actually have a lower staging and an upper staging.
Okay, nice.
So we got to a point where it was kind of like, okay, we put in a lower, and then it was like, oh, this is way too wide. I won't be able to reach where we want to put the upper, so that everything stopped to start the upper.
Gotcha.
So we've done some cardboard mock-ups.
Yeah.
So it's going to be a helper district. So part of it, the tracks get pretty close together as we're swinging back and around and gaining the elevation. So we did some cardboard mock-ups just to make sure, you know, everything in the design was working out to Jeff's satisfaction. So
okay,
when we got that, I think.
Yeah. It's going to work out real well. It's going to be pretty awesome to have that helper district part. The reason it's proto freelance is I didn't want. Everybody does mole and pass.
Okay.
I didn't want to do that. Not because I don't like the passage, just because everybody else does it. So I wanted to be a little different. I thought, well, I'll do Bozeman. Well, the wrench I threw myself there is I really didn't want to model the diesel shops in Livingston. So that's why I decided to go proto freelance on it and kind of mash a bunch of industries into a town that doesn't exist, kind of thing. So
it's going to be pretty sweet.
Well, Montana has a ton of industry. It's a big state, so it's a lot of it really spread out. And I kind of brought out a few things together that just things I like to switch and like to do. So
that's been our primary focus is on just layout. We've talked a lot on the road on different ideas for mine. So mine's a proto freelance Southern Pacific.
Okay.
So mine's a Southern Pacific in Kansas on the old Rock Island route across northern Kansas.
Okay.
So this is where like the Rocky Mountain Rocket would have run and everything. So
Right.
the history would be is that the DNRG bought that route from the Rock Island all the way to Chicago.
Okay.
This was post Southern Pacific Rio Grande merger. So really a modern Southern Pacific is the way I kind of call it.
That's cool.
Fictitious area. So Jeff and I have a lot of talk and fun of, well, what about this industry or this history, and would we run this car or that car? So
Yeah.
I've been collecting. Jeff's helped me get a couple things custom painted. So I have some 70 Max in Southern Pacific, trying to carry on that they actually had money and were buying new stuff. So, and recently did some, what are those 70-foot, 72-foot
Yeah,
reefers
the composite. Yeah.
that
the
I had
UP
painted
composite
in
reefer.
SP. So
Nice.
that's kind of where I've been at. And I still got to sit down and do some track design for my layout, but it's going to be fun. It's going to be cool. So
There you go. Well, at
way
least
too ambitious, but
yeah.
Right?
But as I say, at least you're getting some time to be able to work on that and enjoy the fruits of what you guys do out there. Because that's one of the things I struggled with a little bit when I first started here, was finding the time. Because every time I go home, it's like I just spend all day long solving everybody else's hobby problems. Do I really want to start and work on mine? And I just decided it's two separate things, right? You've got your hobby that you do to escape. Even though it's related, it still gives you that ability to kind of separate the two. So, and has Dave started his layout yet, your dad?
he's been over to check out Jeff's out a couple times. He's kind of getting the cardboard mock-up really helped Dad out too, to see what we were doing and how we were doing it. So
Okay.
he's getting a little more juiced on that.
Yeah.
So,
But he has, I don't know. I think he wants to start something, but he's afraid to start it. You know, he's never been much of a drawer of a layout, so there's something in his head, and I think he's worried if it don't match.
Gotcha.
And it'll be great when he does. I know it will be. He always has good ideas, and it'll be a big help of mine once we kind of get the.
Yep. He's helped both of us build our layouts that we had in the past. Jeff had a switch and layout in his house in Lincoln.
Okay.
Like the version of what I was telling you about. I was
Version 1.
man, I was a month away from Golden Spike when I had to move.
Oh no.
Yeah. So, and it's been in storage ever since. But yeah, no, Dad and Jeff and I have all enjoyed building layouts, and we've got a lot of friends around that have
That's
helped us.
awesome.
Yeah.
But we never have made it too much farther past Plywood Prairie. But
I was getting there. I was slowly getting into the scenery again. But you know how that is. You get the family, you get the life going.
Yeah.
It's just like,
Yep. Totally get it.
Well, my first layout was in a garage. So in the garage in Nebraska, it's like you get about 6 months of decent time out there, and otherwise it's smoking hot or
super
freezing cold. So
yeah, I can imagine. All right, well, guys, thanks for coming in. Where can people find you? What's coming up on the docket? You know, I know you're going to be at the Rocky Mountain Train Show in Denver here. By the time this posts, probably within the next few days, I think, based on the schedule. So, where else can they find you?
Yeah, we'll be at the Dallas World's Greatest Hobby Show, and then after that, Rocky Mountain Show, and then we got several shows throughout the rest of the spring and summer. You can follow that on our website under show schedule. Of course, Jeff's loading stuff on our website.
Yep, we got been hard at work. I got some help from a friend of ours, and he's worked really hard and got our Kato Unitrack up on our website, and I believe all of the Atlas track is up there, so that's good for us. KD brand is all up there.
Nice.
You can find
but you can find our website at Spring Creek ModelTrains.com.
Okay.
And everything in stock. Not everything on our website. That's not our entire inventory. We're still working on it, catching up from
20 years,
10 extra years, or 20 extra years of not being around. So we're getting there, though. Things are working well as long as I can keep the computer parts of the things running right. So
awesome.
But we're getting there. So it's a lot of fun to see that happen, and exciting when
And then you can
customers get excited about seeing it.
Yep, you can always call the store at 402-365-7628, and you can talk to Glenda, talk to myself, talk to Jeff, get your pre-orders in.
Okay.
Or email us at customerservice@springcreekmodeltrains.com and do it the same way. But
okay.
If you're down for pre-orders, and then when product comes in, we'll notify you. And
our pre-orders
are
a zero down pre-order. So
okay, that's important.
We recognize that life changes, right? Especially when the stuff is 12 to 18 months out.
Yep.
So we don't want people feeling like, oh God, I made a mistake. Just talk to us. We work it out all the time with people. So
gotcha.
And then for SoundTraxx, we got all that on our website.
Yes.
We try to carry the full line of it almost 100% of the time. I'm not saying I'm not good at it yet, but that's what we try to have out there. And obviously if we don't have it at the time, or you need more than what we have, right, we'll get it in from George and the team, right?
Yes.
Because you guys order regularly from us, probably every 2 to 3 weeks tops.
Yep.
So that's awesome.
You and Sherry are amazing help on getting us stuff and keeping it moving for us. So.
Yes, sir. Well, guys, thanks for coming. I appreciate it. So we'll look forward to seeing you guys out on the road. And if any of you guys out there visit the store or see them at the show, be sure you tell them you heard them here, and let them know you saw them. So, guys, thanks for joining us. We'll talk to you guys later on.
Thanks, George.
Thank you, George. Thanks, everybody.
So what a great interview with those folks over there at Spring Creek ModelTrains. I do encourage you to go check them out. They've got great people, great inventory, and like I said, if you're looking for something, chances are you can find it there. So earlier in the discussion, I alluded to, with Mr. Tom being out of the office this week, all the support calls have come to me, which is fine. I'm happy to do it. I enjoy talking to you guys. But one recurring thing that seems to come up a lot is, common questions that I see a lot of people could answer if they would go to chapter 1 and just read our user's guides. People will call up and ask about what a specific sound is, or how this sound works, or I hear this, or how do the brakes work, all that. A lot of the information that you're going to find based on the decoders is found in chapter 1. It talks about what the sounds are, what button activates them, and then how the real railroads use those particular effects or features of the locomotives, how they're all transmitted in the real world. And so it's one of the things that gives you some foundation of knowledge, right? If you don't have a solid foundation of knowledge, everything you build on top of it is going to be shaky. So you want to start with that chapter 1. And the reason I mention that is because what you can do is sit down, you have a locomotive put on a piece of track. It could be a test track with a power cab or DCC system or whatever, just a test track. And sit there, open the manual, start on page 1, and just start reading about the decoder. And it'll talk about some of even the remedial stuff. Like, for example, F0 turns on the headlight. Most decoders pretty much do that now anyway, but turn it on, look at it. Okay, great. Yep, directionally based, the headlights, whatever the case is. Press F1 to turn on the bell. And then it talks briefly about the bell as a warning device. It's designed to help people draw attention to a fact that something's moving around so they don't get run over by the giant train that's running down the tracks. Air horns, again, another warning device, and also a communication device, as we've talked about in previous videos, where you talk about whistle signals and how to communicate around the crew what the engine's about to do. And then we'll talk about things like dynamic brakes. And this was interesting because somebody this week actually sent me a video that said they put their locomotive on the track and they were hearing this high-pitched whining sound. And I said, well, that doesn't sound right. And I couldn't hear it over the phone because the audio on our cell phones is filtering out all the background noise so that we can hear the people talking to each other clearly. And so I couldn't hear it, so he sent me a short video of it, and I listened to it, and it was the dynamic brake sound. And this was an economy, so his locomotive was sitting still. So somewhere, either his command station, whether it be here or whatever other brand, had turned on F4 on his decoder, so the dynamic brake sound was playing. Now, on the Tsunami 2, the dynamic brake sound won't play if the locomotive's not moving. And once you start moving, then the sound will come on, because obviously at that point, you will need the dynamic brakes. If you're stopped, There's no dynamic braking. And that's just one of the small differences between Economy and Tsunami 2 is a lot of the features in the Tsunami 2 are designed to be more of a locomotive simulation rather than just a random noisemaker, right? There's a lot more built into it. And so I encourage you guys to take a few moments. I know it's tough. I mean, most of us are guys. We don't read manuals, right? That's the first thing we do. Open the box, throw the manual away. But I encourage you to take your time, look at it. You'd be surprised how much information is there, how much you can know about the decoder, because a lot of the things I found, there was one gentleman I was talking to this week, he really wanted that cab chatter, but for whatever reason, Athearn puts it on F7, so when you dim the headlight, it also plays cab chatter. He wanted it on 22, but he really wanted that sound effect. And it talks about what it is and what you're hearing before you can go in and start making adjustments to how the decoder behaves. And that way you have a better understanding of how the decoder works, and then when you want to go in and make the changes, then you can skip through the manual, find the sections, various things, look for it, find out how we tell you to set it up, and experiment, play with the decoders, because you can't break the decoder by changing a CV value. If you could, we didn't do our job very well. So if you go in there and let's say our Steam decoder, which has 90 whistles pre-programmed into there, if you accidentally, and I'll put myself on the thing here, if you accidentally fat finger a wrong button and you type in function or whistle selection number 92 instead of 82 or whatever it is, the decoder actually has an intelligence in there that says, that's not a choice, and then sets it back to 0 because it doesn't want you to brick the decoder. And so take the time, spend a few moments. I know even if guys have been using Tsunami 2 for years, as you read through the list of all the different sound effects, you may find out that function 16 head end power that you use for like Amtrak trains nowadays with the head end power coming from the locomotive to power the passenger train, that may be one of the coolest things that was missing from running your trains. But you don't know it unless you read the manual or read through there to see what it is. So again, I encourage you guys to do it. Spend a few moments, and you may find all kinds of cool stuff that you didn't know existed that you say, man, I gotta have that now in my locomotives. And the good news is, if you've already bought Tsunami 2 or Blue Nami, much like the Prego spaghetti sauce, it's already in there. Anyway, that's it. That's all I've got for you guys this week. I appreciate you tuning in. Tom will be back next time when we come back to you with the SoundTraxx podcast here. And then we'll have some stuff here on the video side to show you, and we can talk about it on the audio side and show you what we've been working on and what we've been up to. So with everything, thanks for watching, guys. This has been the SoundTraxx Soundbites podcast. Train Talk from Milepost 141. This is George signing off. And for Tom, who'll be back next time, we'll see you guys next time.